Hello guys, Survivor here, welcome back to another video, and I really want to make this real quick. I don't give a shit about the quality of this video, of where the lighting is and shit, because I really want to talk about this, as this is one of my favorite franchises of all time. And it's kind of got me thinking on the state of the Resident Evil universe. The Resident Evil universe, ever since Resident Evil 6, it's kind of bringing up questions on the future of the franchise, on where it's all going. And it can also be said of Resident Evil Revelations, which came out in the same year, and also Operation Raccoon City. But Revelations/6 kind of introduced some things that could potentially lead into possibly the final game in the series, as they're basically building up. Like, you know how in Marvel, in the Avengers or the Marvel movies in general, like the MCU movies, they've been basically like they have like these post-credit cutscenes where they're basically setting up for something bigger, like something that's gonna happen in like possibly the next main game. And they actually been doing that actually quite often as of late. Same thing with at the end of Revelations 2 in the good ending. And now Resident Evil 7, which brought up so many more questions on the state of this universe. Like, where's Leon? Where's Ada? Where's everybody at this point? If Chris looks so fucking different at this point. Now, I do have a theory on like what kind of happened to Chris Redfield. Because I feel like they pulled a Tokyo Ghoul Re on his ass. You know how? Because if any of y'all have read Tokyo Ghoul Re, or like watch Tokyo Ghoul Re as where it is. I feel like that they somehow, like, I know like the new looks on Chris because it's actually a whole like actor playing as him, but I feel like that they did that on purpose and did not like actually make his character like out of like 3D and try to make someone capture his motions and now it's that. I feel like they did that on purpose, probably for plot reasons in the future. They probably pulled a Tokyo Ghoul Re on his ass, where because you know how in Tokyo Ghoul Re where Kaneki looks a lot different, it's basically like a completely different person. What if they did the same with Chris, but he still has his memories, but he's kind of temporarily working for Blue Umbrella for some reason. They never explain that in the Not a Hero DLC. They don't even explain like how the BSAA is doing right now. We still don't know like what the hell Jill is doing after the events of 5, because Revelations 1 took place in between the events of 4 and 5, which at the very end of Resident Evil Revelations, it shows a cutscene of the mansion where Chris and Jill goes to in the Lost in Nightmares DLC. It honestly really gets, and the thing is, at the very end of Revelations, what I'm trying to get to is that with them setting up for bigger events down the road, at the end of around the end of Revelations, like Jessica, backstabbed, everyone else. I believe, because it's been a while since I played the game. But she basically took the virus at the end of Revelations, around the end of Revelations, and she basically, and at the end, she's meeting up with that one guy that's kind of relevant in the story. I forgot his name. He had like red hair or some shit. But Jessica still has the virus in a public place, meeting up with him, kind of setting up for something bigger that she's planning. But the thing is, what? That's the question right there, and that's just. And they also did the same thing with Jake Mueller in Resident Evil 6. At the end of 6, like after you beat Ada's campaign, you see a cutscene where Jake is in Egypt, and he's basically fighting these monsters. Now I know that Capcom is back doing their survival horror things with first person stuff, but I feel like that they should keep the cinematic approach, as I feel like that the story in Resident Evil 6 was great. I really liked the story in 6. The storylines in 6 I thought were kind of good. like Leon's. I really like Jake's. I kind of like Chris's own character storyline, where he's kind of like dealing with, you know, I kind of like Chris's story. Ada's story was like again, all the stories in 6 I actually really liked, because there was something really unique to them, because they were all kind of different in their own way. Especially Jake's, which was very interesting. Well, especially Ada's, because, you know. But here's the thing. The thing is, at the end of 6, it shows Jake getting ready to fight, you know, some of the C-Virus monsters. It just got to me that after that game, like, I know Resident Evil 6 bombed hard, and it wasn't up to where Capcom wanted in terms of sales, but I felt like that they could still go somewhere with that story, because they already established that they were going to do something with Jake. If they do, like, if they pull a Friday the 13th Part 5 where it looked like that Tommy was going to be the killer from now on, and they just jump to 6, and that doesn't happen at all, fuck you, seriously. But I'm really hoping that Capcom can at least clear up some of these, because it feels like these post-credit cutscenes they've been doing, because they also did that at the end of Resident Evil Revelations 2 with Natalie showing that she could potentially still become evil, depending on the endings. Now, the bad ending is where shit got real. Now, I don't know which ending is canon though, but I feel like Capcom's gonna go with the good ending, because that just pulled a really good resolution with, you know, the characters like Barry, Moira, and Claire. Because they all met up, it took that bitch down at the end. I love that. It was good. It was an awesome end game Resident Evil moment. It was just fucking classic. But the thing is, though, like, at the end of the good ending, it still shows Natalie smiling like, oh shit. Kind of like how she kind of like about went crazy at the end, you know, basically went crazy like at the bad ending. I feel like that's still gonna happen, because we still don't really know a lot about Natalie though. That's a question. Like, if we do know some revelations with her, because, you know, Resident Evil Revelations 2, but the thing is, we still don't know a lot about her though. We don't really know like what's gonna happen with her. So, again, at the end of Revelations 1 with Jessica, and at the end of 6 with Jake, I feel like that they are building up something big for probably like the final game of the series to wrap everything up. So I feel like Capcom at this point could potentially end the series. I know Resident Evil is one of their biggest money makers, probably their biggest at this point, but they know that people want more Mega Man, because, you know, that's one of their own flagship series. They are kind of coming back with Marvel vs. Capcom, which I cannot wait to see what else they can do with that franchise, because Marvel vs. Capcom, people love that shit, and know that Capcom can do better, and possibly kind of compete with Mortal Kombat or Injustice in the future potentially, which I have full faith in Capcom that they can do it, because the fighting is freaking badass. They could bring back Dino Crisis for the love of God. I mean, Dino Crisis was basically Resident Evil with dinosaurs, and that shit was awesome. Now the thing is, Dino Crisis 3 is where it kind of went downhill and did not resolve anything from the original. So I feel like that a good reboot or remake would be a good idea on Capcom's part, as Dino Crisis was basically Resident Evil with dinosaurs, and I think Resident Evil fans will love it. The reason why I'm bringing all this shit up is because I feel like that Capcom can still keep on going as a company without Resident Evil, as I feel like the franchise has gone along way too much at this point, where there's so many games, so many outbreaks and everything. Now, I do love the side games like Outbreak and all that good stuff. But here's the thing, I really enjoyed Resident Evil as a whole, as a franchise. The Revelations games have been building up so much things, especially at the end of 6 with one of the main games. And at the end of Resident Evil 7, and even with the Not a Hero DLC, there's still many unanswered questions on what's currently going on in the universe. Resident Evil 7 brought up so many more questions on what's going on, and I'm actually really curious on how they're all gonna, how Capcom's gonna try to answer all of these in the games as the later on in the games. Now, I feel like that at the end of Resident Evil 7, they're bringing us like a whole new age of the universe, like possibly some years after the events of 6. But the thing is, here's another thing. And people kind of forget about this sometimes, but the Resident Evil CG movies, Resident Evil Degeneration, Damnation, and Vendetta, they're all canon they're all in the canon storyline. So maybe like since Leon's basically like in all of them, as he's kind of the main star of these kind of type of movies, though Chris was kind of the main star of Vendetta though. I feel like that Chris, so that means Leon, like he's cool and all, and they brought back Rebecca, while at around the same time that they brought back Barry for Revelations 2. Yeah. It just kind of blows my mind that they're bringing back 2 iconic characters from the first game and the remake. And Chris, here's another thing. Vendetta came out some months later after 7. And Vendetta is supposed to take place before the events of 7, more than likely. So I'm actually really curious, what the hell happened to Chris's look? I mean, why did they keep the look though? I feel like Capcom did that new look on Resident Evil 7's Chris's on purpose because they pulled a Tokyo Ghoul Re on his ass, like they did the whole thing with with Arima doing what he did to Kaneki at in Tokyo Ghoul Re, like they made him look different for possibly some plot reasons, like I'm really thinking they're pulling a Tokyo Ghoul Re on Chris. I'm guaranteeing it, except without the memory changing and shit, because it's still Chris, and I feel like they pulled a Tokyo Ghoul Re on his ass, but with Chris having his memories though, but just temporarily working with Blue Umbrella. I'm kind of wondering what the hell happened, to be honest. Like it's mind blowing. Now, I have not seen Vendetta, so that might actually explain like what happened with Chris's new look. But at the same time, I'm kind of wondering even if it does. I don't know because I haven't seen Vendetta yet. But it's just I'm just wondering what's the state of this universe. Well, I feel like after addressing everything that I just addressed, I feel like that Resident Evil is going in a direction where it's going into its final games, where I feel like they're going to be concluding storylines because characters are getting old. And I mean, when you look at Barry, like he's looking pretty old, like freaking Joel for The Last of Us out this bitch. Claire, she is still doing well, while working with a whole new organization that's kind of alongside with the BSAA to an extent. While Chris is, in the BSAA, she's working on, that company. I forgot what it's called in Revelations 2, but you get what I'm saying. So when they reveal all these things of what the characters are doing and all this build up with these post-credit scenes, I feel like that they are building up what is going to be the final game and revolving all that into probably separate campaigns, like how they did with Resident Evil 6. Probably not going to be as messy, because I hope they did learn a lesson, as Resident Evil 6 was kind of a bit all over the place at times. But I'm hoping that they all put all these characters around the same areas, but like in the same areas, like around this big gigantic city area and stuff, while all this shit's going down. Like I do hope they resolve the whole Jake situation, because it looks like they might actually make him the new main antagonist after Wesker. Jessica possibly alongside of him, and maybe even Natalie with Natalia freaking like I feel like they're building up so much of the final games, because they brought back Claire, they brought back Barry, they changed Chris's look, they Blue Umbrella, like in Rebecca's back, like, and in Vendetta they actually made an antivirus, why is Capcom bringing in so much of this? You gotta pay attention to these details. I know Resident Evil hasn't always had like the best, good, hasn't always had the best stories and stuff. I feel like the best games with the best stories in Resident Evil is probably around 4 and potentially 6, because I really like the stories in 6. The Revelations games have some pretty good stories. I really like them. Resident Evil's tale was pretty good. I really like that. Resident Evil 2 story to an extent was actually pretty good. It's just like I really like Resident Evil stories that never really been Mass Effect-ish, where it's like that emotional or some shit. Like it hasn't been like on Mass Effect's level of storytelling. But I feel like that with all this build-up, with all of these stories, and bringing back so many characters while introducing these certain things that are kind of going to be building out to something else big. Keep building all this stuff up with different characters like Jessica and Natalia and Jake, and with Blue Umbrella and everything. I feel like they're really planning on possibly doing possibly 2 to 3 more games resolving all this stuff. More likely 2. I'm just saying, divided the 2 parts or some shit. So, what's the state of this universe? It's building up some big, and Capcom is planning some big, some that they've been building up for a long time. They gotta be building up some really big to possibly end the franchise they could replace Resident Evil with Dino Crisis and remake that, because it's Resident Evil with dinosaurs. And with the technology we have today, that shit could be good. Anyway, I'm just saying that Resident Evil is potentially coming to an end as a franchise soon. As I know it's Capcom's biggest moneymaker as of right now, but something tells me with all this build-up from all these different games in the series, from recently, from like the past 6 years, I'm kind of curious of what's currently going on. And with Resident Evil 2 being remade, they might actually add in some that's going to be leading up to all this stuff and all that crap. I'm really curious on what they're going to do. And they haven't said anything about Jill, which I'm kind of worried about what's happened to her after the events of 5. Leon and Ada, I feel like that at least in one of the next main games, I feel like that Leon and Ada stories should be concluded, as they are kind of getting older and stuff. Same with Chris. That's just what I'm thinking. Resident Evil is potentially coming to an end with so much stuff being built up from all these post-credit scenes and all this stuff that they've kind of introduced in the new games as of late, especially the Revelation games. And with at the end of Resident Evil 7, it brought up, like I said, it's brought up a lot more questions than answers. I'm really curious on where they're going after this, and maybe we might actually see Mia and Ethan make a return and meet up with Leon or some shit. I don't know. And maybe the virus that Evelyn was using, it could potentially come back. It could, because the organization that Mia was working for, which we still don't know which organization it was. It was probably Blue Umbrella. Maybe a reincarnation of the original Umbrella? I don't know. We really do not know. And Resident Evil 4, with the notes and everything, made the story a little bit more interesting as you kept on reading the notes as the game goes along and stuff, with the cinematic cutscenes and stuff in 4 and everything. Which I really hope that Resident Evil does go back to that, where you keep on reading the notes and introduces a lot of things with stories and everything, making it a lot more interesting, learn more about the characters without having to be in a cutscene with them. You know what I'm saying? I know Resident Evil's kind of going back to that, but I'm just, I don't know, guys. the state of the Resident Evil universe is they are, let's be honest here, they are building up something pretty big from the recent games as of late, straight from Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 6 that came out the same year. They are building some big, and it's gonna be fucking insane if they ever capitalize on that. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on my thoughts on the current state of the Resident Evil universe. I hope you guys enjoyed it though. Like the video if y'all enjoyed, subscribe if y'all want to see more, and comment below what y'all think. Maybe if y'all new to the channel, if y'all want to see more, be sure to subscribe for more. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys have like any thoughts on the current state of the Resident Evil universe, I actually kind of recommend to make a video about it as well, on your thoughts on the state of the universe, as after the events of Resident Evil 7 and the Not a Hero DLC released some months ago, it still brought up more questions than answers. And I would like to hear y'all's thoughts in like, I don't know, like a different video that y'all are gonna make about your thoughts on the state of on the universe, and the thought, or like you guys can tell like your thoughts in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Survivor out.